All right. I'm gonna go ahead and call this meeting to order. All right, Rhonda? Here. Terry? Christine? Here. Marvin?
Here.
Alan?
Here.
All right, everyone's here, so we have a quorum. Next, we're going to go over the consent agenda. Is there a motion to accept the consent agenda?
I would, oh, go ahead.
So moved.
I will second that.
Great. All right, now we will call for a vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any nay? All right, the ayes have it. Motion's passed. All right. Next, we'll have our director's report with Ms. Murphy.
Thank you. If you have not seen it in your email or on the screens here, I know we let people know in a bunch of different ways that we will be closed January 5th. Hopefully only through the 7th, but possibly longer for the replacement of that elevator jack. So we will set up on this side of the building a number of different services. People will still be able to pick up holds and have a very small browsing collection. The computer lab will be in here. We'll have a temporary computer lab in here. We'll show movies. Mel's team's been working hard on that. Rana, Lisa, Karen. It's been a lot of work. So I think we're in good shape for that. And just a reminder that this happened after y'all approved the other repairs to the elevator. So once this is done, then we can think about those other preventative maintenance repairs. So that's where we're at. This year we looked
Wait,
at.
I'm not sure that I'm tracking what you said there. This is different than.
Sure, so you all approved the preventative maintenance repairs because we had been having issues, so we had Schindler look at the elevators in total. And they came back and said, fix all of these things, every part will have been replaced, we'll be good. But they didn't look at with the jack itself.
Oh, but that was,
That was the part that failed just now.
right.
So yes, it's been a long time that we've been waiting for this repair before we move ahead with the other repairs. We've been looking at our car types and we've really simplified that process quite a bit. Hopefully you have the proposal in your board packet today. We'll also begin to do new card holder surveys in order to evaluate the changes and make sure that's resonating with patrons. The Charlie card is here and I'll let Mac and Mel tell you about that in a little bit. And I was at LaSalle and Western both today. Both of those projects are moving along nicely. We are still waiting for city permits we have a demo permit for Western. We're waiting for full permitting there. We have it from the state. We're waiting on the city, but they're doing as much as they can in the meantime. But LaSalle is really coming together, so that's nice to see. And as part of this report, I know we have a resolution on the agenda, but I just wanted to personally thank Terry for his 16 years on the board of the library. You've been an outstanding board member, and I personally have appreciated you. We all.
He had no gray hair when he started.
But he did before I started, so let's just make clear, I'm not the cause.
Right, is there a motion to accept the director's report?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor? Say aye.
Aye.
Any nay? All right, the ayes have it. The motion is passed. All right, next up, we have the patron engagement report with Rana.
Stephanie, did you mention that our new book hauler is out by the court?
Oh, thank you. So if you want to see the new mobile library on your way out, it's parked on this side of the building. If you walk out through the courtyard, you can walk on there and see what we've got going on there. Thank you, Rana.
Okay, so for the month of November, there's a couple pictures here. One is of Day of Dead outreach at La Casa, and then Explore a Story, which is November 15th. And top children's titles, I am always surprised when it's these series that have been around for so long. Jump ahead to page 3. I wanted to point out that center circulation for November is back up to where it was November of last year. So that's really cool. Jumping to page 5. This month I wanted to feature home delivery. And there's just a little description there. It supports patrons in our service area who cannot visit the library due to illness or disability. And the service can be short-term or long-term. And mention how it works. And we had 20 volunteers in November, 112 patrons were served, and 593 items were checked out. And that's books, magazines, DVDs, audiobooks, all the different types of items.
Thank you, Beth. All right, next we'll have our financial report, read by Anjanette.
Alright, so you all are, I would say you're used to seeing the fund report and the appropriations report. Again, we are still in transition from moving from our P fund to BSA. So they did an update and the report looks a little different from what I presented last month. But in a way, as we go into next year, it will be even a clearer report because they're showing truly what our current month receipts, current month expenditures, current month activities will be. What will still be a little bit in this report, probably, I'm gonna assume the December report. Because we had transfers between our Trust Indianas and things like that, it shows those receipts as receipts and expenditures. So those numbers are gonna be look a little bit different, but in total, when you go to the ending balances, those are our actual ending balances. It's just a shift as we continue to move away from how we presented it before. But the balances are our true ending cash balance at the end of the year. You will see the 500,000, that is the investment that we've had still outstanding. And so that will stay on there until we cash in that CD at the beginning of next year. So that's the fund report. And the expenditure, the appropriations expenditure report in general is the same. We've got those percentage lines in there and the actual percentage signs, so you can see what we have budgeted, used, and budgeted remaining. So are there any questions on those reports? If not, I will just read some little cursory information that I have. As I said, we are moving forward to completing our first our year end. So we'll be starting going into year end in the new software, and we anticipate a smooth transition as we do that. Trust Indiana, if you pay attention to interest rates, again, Trust Indiana is not really a savings account. It is an investment account. However, it does, a lot of the things in there do deal with the rates, and there was an additional rate cut by the Fed that was to 25 percentage points that changed. So that drops our interest rate a little bit, but again, we sell commercial paper and other things that may impact us in a better way than just a straight interest rate. So our interest rate right now is 3.8835%. And if you want to compare that to CD rates, CD rates are 3.75 to 3.65. So we still have a higher rate than if we were leaving it in the bank. We did move a large majority of our final property tax payment for December into Trust Indiana to continue to capture more interest as the year progresses for the rest of the year. We did, if you looked at the bill list, we did pay our 3 bond payments before the end of the year, and that's approximately $785,000. So with that, if there's any questions?
So I know you said last month with the new software, it'll make the problem that
Yes.
go away, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, they actually, we transitioned to the new software in November. December 1st, they updated the reports again, and so I couldn't even do the original report because they're still working with libraries that are transitioning, so they got some feedback of how other libraries wanted it and changed it, so we're still working through that process, but I think that we will, the fund report will be much clearer when we roll into our first full, we finished 2025 and we're truly into 2026. Because a lot of the, what happens is we do journal entries, and now, before they weren't split out, now they are. And so that column where it says other will just be journal entries, and everything else should be truly a receipt. We received money from somewhere, or we paid out money to somewhere, and that will truly be, it won't be, transfers, which is what you're seeing now.
Any other questions? All right, is there a motion to accept the patron engagement and financial reports? Is there a second?
Second.
All right, all in favor say aye.
I.
Any nays? All right, the ayes have it. Motion passed. There's no unfinished business today. And then our new business, strategic plans, projects update with Ms. Murphy.
So, the meat of the strategic plan stays the same, but we have projects for, 2026 based on that strategic plan. And the way that we came up with these, project ideas was managers talked with their staff, they bubbled those ideas up to a manager meeting. Managers talked about those ideas and told us what they would like to see and what also they had bandwidth to accomplish this year. We took all of that to senior leadership retreat and came up with these priorities under create destination spaces and access. It's been about 5 years since we looked at our hours at our branches, so we'll look at that again. Will it result in changes or not? Nobody knows. But I just think it's a good idea to look at that every so often. Our branch renovations will continue. We've heard a lot of requests for library of things, and we have a couple things that people can check out, but to come up with a plan for more robust library of things where people can check out objects. So we'll look at that. What? Objects. So it varies a lot. Some libraries will check out circulate tools. Some libraries will circulate baking pan. Like there's a wide range of, who knew? And it all fits really well into sustainability because
Right.
all of these things where you use it once or twice a year,
Yeah.
you don't need to buy it then. You can check it out from the library. So there's many, many different ways of doing it. We know our staff would like to see us do it, and we've heard some requests from the public as well. So we'll at least explore the idea. It comes with its own cataloging issues.
When I was young and lived outside of Chicago, the libraries rented out artwork and you could rent it out for 2 months at a time for your home.
Yeah, we used to do that here.
here.
We did, but do we still?
Used to. Do it, yeah.
There was a whole hallway.
There's a
Yeah.
whole way, yeah.
I have a piece now.
Yeah.
Well, did I see something about seats? There's something about seats. We're doing something with,
Yeah,
that's,
the library,
Yeah.
I saw that in our,
in the
in
circulation.
the circulation thing.
But I brought a chainsaw.
In some libraries, yes, I mean, I've seen that more in like rural libraries, but there is a whole, I see Myra's eyes going,
Waiver.
there's a whole waiver that they have to assign before they circulate things like that, so.
That's why I use that as an example.
But
Rates
definitely,
and homes.
particularly in some western rural libraries, I've seen circulation of things like chainsaws. Tell our story in new ways, promote the unexpected. We still have so much that we do that people don't know that we do, so we'll continue to work on that. A business value calculator, we want to really clearly be able to explain what we do for the business community. Urban Libraries Council has a tool where you can kind of calculate your services for businesses. So we'll work our way through that. We need a financial sustainability plan. So Jeanette and I have already started a little bit on that, but we need in writing, like options 1, 2, 3, and 4 of what happens for different scenarios with property taxes and local income tax moving forward. For partnerships and maintaining and enhancing existing partnerships, we'll create a sustainability action plan. This is where we put our environmental stuff in our strategic plan because we can't do that by ourselves. We have to work with other people. So what does that look like? I also don't know, but we're gonna look at that this year and see what we can figure out. We'll analyze our current partnerships and create a partnership strategy. That's not that we don't have one. Mel has one that she's worked through, but to really look at that and there's only so much we can do. So let's make sure we're doing the right things with the right partners. Still, right? People, we have two parts of that, patron engagement and staff development. We'll look at civic, financial, and digital literacy. I've recently, and I haven't even told you this yet, Mel, had lots of requests for AI programming, like how to recognize AI, which you probably have already thought of. Yep. But that's civic and financial literacy as well. And then we have these new spaces in Fort Will, in LaSalle. We have it at Center. We'll have new spaces at Western and really activating those programming spaces. Staff development. We think we do a pretty good job of communication, but we also think that's an area where we can improve. So we'll make an internal communications plan. You saw Kara's baseline onboarding plan. We want to also do the same sort of thing when we promote people to be managers. How are we training them? And make sure we're getting people ready. And then that ongoing training plan. We know baseline, which parts of that should we repeat annually, biannually, make sure we get through every so often. So they'll work on that. Literacy. And I did realize that we use library jargon in this first one under literacy spaces. Community focused readers advisory. And we're trying to figure out how to bring our readers advisory more out into the community. You saw our discovery centers for kids. What is the adult experience version of that? We'll work through that this year. We worked on a nonfiction browsability. How do we increase the browsability of our nonfiction collection? That was this year. Next year, we'll implement that plan. And then we got this mobile library. We're going to launch those services. And then in the same way, we have a partnership plan for community partners. We need a really well thought out written plan for school partnerships as well. And we're doing better. Right now, if you call in the school and ask, historically, like it's random. We want to make sure we're really consistent in who and how what we're offering the schools, instead of it being for the people who call us first. So there you go.
Thank you, Stephanie. All right, next we'll have our circulation policy by Ronna.
Okay. And we recommend that the board approve the proposed update to the circulation policies in section 5 of the Public Service Policy Manual to be implemented on March 2nd, 2026. So the changes support the library strategic plan, particularly the patron engagement initiative to enhance the new cardholder experience. And it's a more user-friendly format, enabling staff to focus on promoting library services rather than navigating technical card requirements, resulting in a smoother and more welcoming process for new card holders. Revisions were also made to improve clarity and consistency without changing underlying practices. We listed the key policy updates. The main one is reducing the card types to 3: resident, limited, and guest. Right now we have 9 currently. Some of them were merged together. For example, adult and youth access cards are merged into a single category. Home access card is a subtype of resident card. And we clarified access limitations to guest limited cards, adjusted the access limitations to limited card, expanded eligibility for resident card to include non-resident teachers and students, and refined the eligibility of the limited cards to only populations and services. special circumstances, and that would be children can come in without their grown-up, without their caretaker. They can sign up for a card on their own, or someone who might live in temporary housing. And then it goes on to highlight some of the other changes. And then you have the full policy and a red line version, which is very, very red. A lot of changes. Do you have any questions?
It's not a question, maybe a statement, but we'll pretend, for example, that a student is here from another county because of legal purposes. How careful are we to be confidential, that we're not saying, oh, you're in the homeless shelter because we had to pull you from another county?
Confidentiality is a core tenet of library work, so we protect our patron privacy as much as we possibly can.
Okay. Good. Thank you.
Okay, is there a motion to accept the circulation policy?
I'll move.
Perfect, all right. All in favor? Aye. Any nays? All right, the ayes have it. Right. Next, we have a resolution to adopt electronic records as the official document of record, and this will be by Anjanette.
So we're asking for a recommendation for you to approve that, going forward, the, records that we use, in our retention and, for payables, and those documents that are not necessarily permanent, but can be, at some point in time off of the, official record of, the time frame whenever they can be destroyed, that those records are a permanent record. Our official document is the electronic copy. So if we get an invoice in the mail and it is a piece of paper, we can scan that document, we can then shred the piece of paper, and we keep the electronic copy as the official document. And so we do not, per the Indiana Archives Administration and the Oversight Committee on Public Records, you do not have to have a paper copy as your official document of record. When we go through audit, the auditors, at least since I've been here, have never come in and actually asked us to pull the pieces of paper, hand them the pieces of paper, take the pieces of paper back. They basically tell us to scan up the documents that they need. And then they are looking at an electronic copy anyway. And so now that those two institutions will allow us to use an official, an electronic copy as the final copy, we are asking that the board approve that the electronic copy be the official document of record.
A question,
Yes,
do they give guidance on how to store, where to store, backups, security?
yes. All of the above is in the Indiana Archives and the Oversight Committee's documentation of how you need to store it, how long you need to store it, what types of servers and those types of organization, how it is organized. The accounting software that we are using now, BSA, has worked heavily with SBOA, and SBOA is also in agreement with, you do not need to have the paper copy as your official document of record. And the system that we use is already approved by them in how they do retention of records.
But only if the board says it's okay.
Yes, and only the board says it's okay.
Well, the press is so full of data breach information and horror stories, and just gotta be vigilant, I guess.
Sure, absolutely.
Well, I
And
mean,
of course, there's us old people who still work in paper, so
100%.
Well, no matter what, it's electronic to begin with. Right.
Many times it is electronic to begin with
Yeah.
anyway. There are some times that we don't get a paper copy anyway. They emailed us the invoice, so it's really just transferring it over. So it also saves storage space. In the case of, God forbid, a fire, it's electronic. And so if that would so happen, we don't have to worry about the paper copy. In general, I used to work in IT, in Acro many years ago. And so the redundancy of whenever you have electronic copies, there are probably 2 to 3, servers in other places across the country that have redundancy with the documents that we have. So we have one copy of a piece of paper in a box right now. And so if something happens to that one piece of paper in that box, it's gone, right? But when it's electronic, there's redundancy. There's probably a server in Virginia and there's probably one in Arizona. So what is the likelihood of all of them being gone at the same time? So there's usually more redundancy than whenever we have a paper copy sitting in a file cabinet or boxes in the basement.
Any other questions?
Is this being done generally across the board?
The State Board of Accounts actually is starting to prefer electronic records because again, they're not sending their auditors into buildings. They're doing them.
So libraries across the state, similar libraries are doing it.
I would say we're a leader. I'd say we're a leader, early adopter. But we are, to Terry's question, always strengthening our cybersecurity as well. So,
I would say with the confidence of SBOA, and was at 3 meetings this year with SBOA, and with SBOA saying, we want you to do this, we are 100% on board. If SBOA wasn't saying, not sure we're gonna do that, I probably would not push, even though I'm an electronic copy person, because I've done this for 16, 18 years, with electronic, processes. But if SBOA was not heavily pushing this, I would not say that we're ready to do this. It is creating our process. It makes it easier to approve and do other things, but it also, we don't have that. We need a piece of paper now. We have to find the piece of paper now. Somebody has to go find Kelsey to get the piece of paper. It's just, there's a lot.
there are a
And
handful,
SBOA is definitely 100% on board.
there are a handful of libraries that still use paper ledgers. But large libraries are adopting this
Yes.
pretty quickly.
But we haven't used a paper ledger.
Oh, no. No. I moved away from anything.
Excel is more
much as
accurate.
Excel as possible. So as soon as I got here.
Okay. Excel can do the math better.
Yes.
Any other questions? All right. Their motion to accept resolution to adopt electronic records as the official document of record.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All right. All in favor?
Aye.
Any nays? All right, the ayes have it. All right, next we have LaSalle change order by Ms. Murphy.
Thank you. So this change order, these were a lot of items that we saw with our contingency that either needed to be done, like the changes to the fire alarm, or things that we knew would particularly stand out after the renovation as being old. So that removal of the canopy that's not in good shape. So we either needed to paint it or we needed to remove it. It's not over a door that it will regularly be used at all. So we opted to remove it. So for this list of items, total $86,299 is all coming from contingency, which we hold for just this type of purpose.
Any questions on it? I knew Alan would have a question.
Well, no, it's just, you probably noticed it too. Can you explain so 28,000 of this 86,000, it says it's a permit delay?
Sure, so trying to think back, because of the delays with permitting, it delayed a lot of the work until spring. And so that is a re-estimate of the Robert Henry Corporation's costs for having to bring, say, landscapers back in the spring instead of having them this fall. And there's a whole list of items that need to be pushed back into the spring. The same with the winter heating. They had not planned on needing to use winter heating because they should have been far enough along in the project in order to turn on the new boilers when it got cold.
But can you refresh, so basically, so it's the 28 plus the 19,000, so
Correct.
$47,000 of this is actually this delay. So what was the cause of the delay in permitting?
There were,
Nothing we did, or
No.
something somebody else did? I
it
mean,
was,
whose fault was it that that the permits were delayed in getting?
I don't like to throw anybody under the bus.
I mean, is there
But-
somebody we may have, that maybe should reimburse us $47,000? Because they didn't, they have
The
to have a
city,
lawyer.
the city of South Bend. There was back and forth on drainage in particular and what was meant by moving earth. And, it was long and difficult to get that permitting from the engineering department. I will say we were proactive with our Western project and went and talked with engineering and zoning ahead of time. So we've now been signed off on engineering and zoning, and we're having different questions from the fire marshal on Western. So I don't know that any of this stuff is predictable when the engineers design it, and engineering, particularly when it comes to drainage. And the engineering department thinks it should be something different than the engineer who designed it thought it should be. You just sometimes run into differing opinions.
Boy, was that tactful.
Any other questions?
In other words, both the engineering and the engineering departments both owe us half of it.
Or you could say this is what we hold contingency for, these unforeseen circumstances.
All right, is there a motion to accept LaSalle change order?
Yes, sir. I'll do.
Thank you, Terry. Is there a
I'll
second?
second.
All in favor? Any nays? All right, the ayes have it. All right, next we have a resolution honoring Terry Rensberger. Ms. Murphy.
Don't mind, I will read it out loud.
Oh, please.
A resolution in honor of Terry Rensberger. Whereas Terry Rensberger has served with distinction on the Board of Trustees of St. Joseph County Public Library for 16 years, from January 2010 through December of 2025. And whereas Terry Rensberger was elected by his colleagues on the Board of Trustees to President 2016 and Vice President 2014 to 15. And whereas St. Joseph County Public Library has been fortunate to have Terry Rensberger as a dedicated board member who consistently demonstrated his belief in the value and importance of the library to the community. And whereas Terry Rensberger will be greatly missed by his colleagues on the Board of Trustees and by the many library community members who benefited from his efforts on behalf of the library. Now, therefore, let it be resolved that the Board of Trustees does hereby recognize with great admiration and appreciation the contributions and record of service of Terry Rensberger to the library and the citizens of St. Joseph County. Presented to the Board of Trustees of St. Joseph County Public Library, read in full and adopted this 22nd day of December 2025.
All right, do we have a motion to accept?
So,
We don't want to accept this resolution.
Is there a second? I wasn't sure.
I'll second.
Okay.
And I believe Terry abstained.
All right, and then all in favor? Aye. Any nays? I would hope not. All right, the ayes have it.
I don't have a speech. I will tell you that I've missed this more than you can imagine. This has been one of the most fulfilling, positive things I've been involved in, maybe ever. And the professionalism of the boards that I worked with, and I'll include the staff, have never been better. So I'm gonna miss it.
We'll miss you, Terry, for sure.
And for the board, ask hard questions.
We're never, Terry asks good questions always.
Gotta be a little bit of a
In your
contrast.
honor, every month I'll say, and who's paying for it?
Is it covered?
Is it public? Okay, I can.
And we do
Thank
have a
you all.
cake to celebrate as well.
Thank you all.
All right, okay, any other business? All right, then next we'll have our strategic plan updates, our Charlie Kurt, and that will be presented by Mel.
Hello, everyone. I am Mel Lees, Senior Manager of Services Department, and I am excited to share with you today my new friend, the Charlie Cart. So the Charlie Cart project is a nationwide project that brings culinary literacy by providing food education on this mobile cart. So in a moment, we'll get into what is on the cart, but we're really excited to use it because culinary programming is such a great way to build community and bring people together to make things with one another. It's also a great way to build confidence. You might have people who have never cooked before, whether it's kids or adults. And it gives them an opportunity to try something new, not only practice new skills, but also interact with new foods. We recently piloted a program last Sunday on the 14th, holiday mocktails, and we'll sample a mocktail today. And I had the great pleasure of peeling thyme leaves right from the step, which I had never done before. And there were 9 of us there. We were all commenting on how much fun that was and how wonderful it was to be able to smell it on our fingers. It was such a tangible experience we got to have with one another. The Charlie Cart comes with a curriculum that's specifically geared for grades K through 5, but it is useful for any age, and the programs are open to all ages and abilities. We will have the cart here at Maine for the time being, but it will go over to our renovated Western branch and join our culinary initiatives over there once the time comes. With that, I will pass it over to my colleagues, Mac and Mari, and Mac will share a little bit about the cart.
Yes, this is a pretty incredible piece of equipment that I'm very excited we got. It has enough supplies, cutting boards, knives, measuring cups for a classroom of 10 people, and then if they double or triple up, that's, multipliable. It has a fully functioning sink with a clean and gray water system. It comes with an induction cooktop, a Vitamix blender, and it's got its own little oven for baking programs, induction oven. So we already did the mocktail program, but for programming and outreach the sky's really the limit with this. Even for outreach, being able to take parts of it with us, and we can't take the whole 600-pound cart with us. Yeah, there's the tours. Yeah, lots to do. They focus heavily on organic foods and eating with the seasons, focusing on seasonal foods too, to engage with your local food systems, which is really cool. Yeah, just things that we haven't had the chance yet to explore fully that we now will cover. Yeah, it's just a mocktail.
Yeah, so you get to sample a mocktail inspired by our recent program. This is a Ruby Ginger Fizzy, and I think I'll go ahead and send these around. This is the recipe. So in case there are any allergies or sensitivities, you can take a look at what is in this beverage. And we'll get it out to you shortly. While we're preparing it, are there any questions?
So this cart will fit in the new van,
Oh, yes.
so you can take it.
It will technically fit. We haven't yet attempted to get it on a van, but there's enough room and the wheelchair lift will 800 pounds. It is 600 with all the supplies on it. So that is the plan. Other questions?
I may have missed it. Why is it called Charlie?
No, I do not know the answer to that, Terry. I will have to get back to you on it.
So,
Never know.
That is the name of the organization. It's initiative as well to teach kids about organic food and food systems, local food systems. I don't know specifically, but they're from California, so that could be it.
Somebody come to.
well, there's a Charlie cart, which is a subway pass in Boston. Charlie Cart, not Charlie Cart. And that goes back to you old timers who maybe remember the MTA, the song MTA by the Kingston Trio. Charlie will never return. Yeah, Charlie Cart.
Right. Excellent. I'll get back to you.
It's good to know though.
When we're finished in a little bit, if you want to walk over there and open doors and touch things, you're welcome to.
Yeah, and speaking of show and tell, we do have the mobile library outside next to the yard. And I'll be out there after the meeting. If you'd like to take a look at it, I'll open up the doors and or send bills and visits.
And it did make its debut at the holiday parade downtown. They let it up.
Oh, wow.
Thank you.
Next, we have the hearing of visitors. Are there any visitors?
Been listening.
Thank you. I haven't signed any. Here's this.
Cheers.
Like the ginger.
They did this for you.
Thank you.
This for you too.
I'm Jeff first.
You could probably use the alcohol.
Thank you.
Thank you, something.
My name is Nada.
Yeah.
Oh, that's good. Matt, where do you get the blood orange juice? Just any grocery store? Or did you squeeze your own oranges? Very nice.
Hearing.
Yes.
Okay.
The Anjanette's gonna be the 10th. Usually that's
All
right, just a reminder, at regular meetings, the public is invited to address the board during the public comment period agenda. Individuals may only speak once for 3 minutes during this time. Each individual must use their own allotted time. It cannot be given to another speaker. If you wish to give public comment, you must sign in at the beginning of the meeting. When your name is called, speakers may approach the podium. They shall properly identify themselves by saying their name and address for the record. Personnel issues are not to be addressed during open sessions of the library board. Please be respectful during the comment period. This includes not interrupting others and ending your comments when your time is up. Since the board acts as a unified body and not as individual members, the board listens but does not respond to public comment.
Sue Castle.
Sue Castle, 422 Kennedy Drive. She's forwarding my handout because I had too much to say in 3 minutes. I was so excited when Center was gonna be remodeled. And I got there and I can't tell you how disappointed I was. In the entry, there used to be a beautiful table that the librarians would set up all sorts of new books and we could see them. Now there's kind of a worthless squiggle bench. My favorite place in all of South Bend for 25 years was a writing desk with a comfortable chair, place to plug in my laptop and a lamp. It has been replaced with a cocktail table and high chairs. So I no longer write at Center Library after 25 years. There used to be big tables. There's a lot of seniors at Center. There were big tables and they would read the big newspaper and spread it out and people could walk by and talk. That's been replaced with very low chairs that seniors can't get in and out of. They're not gonna read their newspaper in it. These are kind of worthless. I guess it's a hotel lobby thing. So, yeah, I know you guys spent a lot of money, but seniors use Center and it's now become not very senior friendly. Literacy is declining. I know I've come before you about using AI programs to help people read better. I'd like to see maybe a literacy committee, maybe you have one. There's a lot that can be done with that. I'd like to see the year of creation. And I sent this to Rana earlier. Each month have something that encourages writers, have classes, have people come speak, building a strong book structure, self-publishing on Amazon, finding your writing voice, things like that. I'd love to see that to encourage our local writers to become more than what they are now. And social media is underutilized and it's free. The schools have, a Facebook page for each of the schools. I think that needs to happen for the library, because there's so much going on. And then all we see is just like a post, like one thing.
30 seconds,
I'm sorry?
30 seconds.
So really, you know, if there was one for each library, I'd sign up for like Tutton Center since I live between them. And it could list all the events every week, all the things going on. And I would utilize it more. I think a lot of people would. So, I'd appreciate if you would look through this. I'd appreciate it if you could get rid of the squiggle bench and actually put in the table that was there before. The librarians were wonderful. in
Time is
setting
up.
it up. Thank you.
All right, our next library board meeting date is Monday, January 26th. Here on the second floor. In this room, right? Okay, is there a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
See you in the new year.